Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story titled Me, 34-year-old male, and fiancé, 27-year-old female. I'm in the process of calling a halt to our wedding as she asked for an open relationship. And guys, this story is about a guy who'd been with his girlfriend for like 4 years, and they're due to be married. And right before, or sometime before they're supposed to be married, she started acting weird and distant and all that. And eventually got her talking, and then she wanted to have an open relationship. Okay? Basically giving her the freedom to go out and hook up with as many dudes as she wants. How nice. Very loving. Isn't that just what you want to hear from the girl you're about to say I do with and start a family with, that she wants to go bang other dudes because you're not good enough for her? Unbelievable. But this is the world we live in. This type of crap happens, okay? And basically you're going to see, guys, as I go through the story, that there are definitely things that she's done along the way to show that, number one, it shows her true colors, which this guy wasn't paying attention to, or at least turned a blind eye from, probably because he had a scarcity mindset, didn't have a lot of confidence in himself, and the guy was just weak, okay? But as I go through the story, guys, there's definitely some lessons to be learned here through the story, and I'm going to point them out along the way. And for some of you guys who have been following me for a while, you'll probably be able to pick out these lessons right away as I tell his tale here, But, she literally wants a have her cake and eat it too situation here. Real classy girl. I want to start hooking up with other dudes before I get married. So his story begins. All right, folks, where to start? This one is tough to type, and the paws are shaking as I'm doing it. As it says in the title, me and my fiancé, and he says in parentheses, ex-fiancé, are 34 and 27 respectively. We've been together for nearly 4 years overall and are a year engaged. I'll be totally honest here. Just before we got engaged, she had an emotional affair with a bloke that she worked with. He says, I only found out because one of her friend's boyfriends contacted me, and he said he overheard the friend group discussing it. I confronted her at the time, and after a good bit of arguing and hassle, we came to an agreement to let it go. Well, notice he chose to use the word we came to an agreement to let it go. No, there was no we in that situation. It was her. She got him to agree to let it go, all right? She manipulated him to let it go. And because this guy obviously is weak, this guy obviously has a scarcity mindset and thinks that pretty much she's as good as it's going to get, he let it go. And by the way, guys, as you see the story, you're going to see this guy, he has a lot of traits like your classic boneheaded nice guy. And because he's acting like a nice guy, guess what? She's taking advantage of him. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens a lot of times in varying degrees. Give me a break here. I'll be totally honest in saying that I'm still slightly in the process of getting over that particular incident, and it discolored my view of her. I manned up, moved on, and proposed, which I had planned on doing anyway. This is just to give an overall context here, and indeed to let it be known that there has been issues in the past. Well, guys, right then and there, here's the first lesson. When he found out that she was having an emotional affair, that's it. He should have walked away. End of story. Because it's cliche, but once a cheater, always a cheater. A leopard does not change its spots, okay? And so believe me, if he lets her get away with it, she's going to do it again. And you're going to find out there's going to be more bullshit with her as the story continues. This goes back to the whole, we decided to let it go. No, okay? But anyhow, he stays with her. And then he proposes to her. Are you out of your mind? The odds are she's going to do it again. And the fact, I guarantee, she obviously had little respect for this guy to begin with, if she was obviously cheating on him, right? But then the fact that he let it go and let her manipulate him to do it, I guarantee her respect for him went down even lower. And it did, because you're going to see as this story continues what happens here. But, and the whole part, he says, I manned up. There's no manning up to let a cheating girlfriend let it go. That's not manning up. Manning's up taking responsibility for something you've done, but give me a break here. The story continues. Fast forward to recent time. We are due married in November, traveling abroad for it with family. And back around October, she started acting a bit odd. Distant, not herself, away with the fairies. Even stopped having sex, which was very strange. I put it down to stress about organizing the wedding and the fact that we had moved. Fast forward to Christmas time, and now things are coming to a head. I confronted her straight up, and she said out that she was very sorry and had just been stressed. I was very considerate and tried to help her through it. So again, more of the nice guy stuff. She's backing away. She's acting distant, not having sex, which he says is strange for her. And he can see the red flags, but he's just, she must be stressed about the wedding. That has to be it. And I'm sure preparing a wedding can be stressful, but obviously it's a while away. But still, after the incident before, this guy, he has to really be paying attention here. And obviously, you're going to see what's going on here. However, it basically continued on ebbing and flowing throughout the next 2 months, up to yesterday. I arrived in from work last night, and she says she wants to talk. The vibe was bad, guys. I could tell. Always trust your gut. We sat down, and she set out that she had been reading, and that she wasn't having second thoughts about the marriage, but the nature of our relationship. At this rate, I was getting a bit agitated and demanded that she come out and what the bloody hell she meant. Well, good for this guy, because guys are to the point. But I guarantee you she's talking in circles and trying to water down what she's about to suggest and what her issue is here. And he's tired of this bullshit. He's like, basically, get to the point. Basically, a few of her friends had back in October, the times matched up, conveyed to her the idea of an open relationship. Basically, they stayed with their blokes and had one-night stands a night out if they fancy. I'll be honest, the idea made me ill. I said this to her, and she asked to be heard out. Pulled out some online blog posts by a blogger who had a husband and live-in boyfriend. I got halfway through it and told her enough of this nonsense. I wouldn't consider myself old-fashioned, but a wife or fiancé boinking other men will never be in fashion. Not in my world anyway. Good for this guy. And by the way, guys, notice as she talks about her friends. These are the same friends that before knew she was having an emotional affair with some dude from her office. And it was the girl's boyfriend that told this guy. Okay? So her friends obviously knew before she was cheating and had no problem with it. Okay? Beware a girl's friends. For you guys that do relationships, okay, you need to be prepared for this, okay? And I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form you need to go around kissing the ass of your girlfriend's friends. No way. I'm just saying you need to pay attention to them, size them up, okay? Because believe me, if you have a girlfriend and all her and she's with you, and all her girlfriends are single and like to go out and party and hook up with random dudes, but want other guys, they could try to sabotage you and her because they want misery loves company, okay? They want their wing girl back. They're jealous of her. Things like that, okay? And just like here, they're screwing things up. A good friend would be happy if she was indeed happy, but no. Or also she's probably envious of their free lifestyle. But she obviously doesn't respect this guy. She's obviously not in love with him because, trust me, if she truly respected this guy, she was actually in love with him in a way that a woman can be in love, because it's different with guys than women, she wouldn't want an open relationship. She'd want this dude all to herself and no other dude. Okay? But no. So pay attention. That's another lesson, guys, about the girl's friends. He says, we got into a fight, and in the end, she was begging me to give it a chance, and that nothing is set in stone. I basically said that I needed some headspace, and that I'd spend the weekend with my mates. It was quick after that, and I left without a fuss. I'm typing this on my mate's laptop, and I'm in a bad mental way anyway. I'm seriously considering calling off the whole thing, both relationship and wedding. I suppose if anyone has been in a similar place, I could do with some advice. Well, this is part one of this, guys. I'll read part two in a moment. But advice, here's the advice. Get out. I'm glad this guy finally had the balls to basically tell her, hey, this ain't happening. No way. This is crazy. But do you see, guys? This is what happened. He let her get away with the crap before with her having the emotional affair. And he, as we said before, we decided to let it go. And he even saw her differently after that, but he still proposed to her anyway. You think she changed? No. And then for months, she's acting strange and no sex and all that. Can you imagine what marriage is going to be like to this girl if he were to get married to her? Oh my God, she'd milk him for everything it's worth. And this guy'd be miserable and lose half his possessions eventually, because she would eventually divorce him. And he had to pay her alimony and all that. Crazy. But one can look at the situation as, hey, you know what? This is a good thing she's doing this, because now, again, he can see her true colors before he makes the grave mistake of getting married to her. But give me a break here. So the advice I'd give this guy, if he was asking me personally, is dump her ass. Move the hell on while you have the chance, you know? And if people get pissed off about it, so be it. You know, you can tell the truth. So now we're going to go into his update of this situation. He says, "Hello, everyone. I said that I post an update, in large part due to the massive response I got yesterday. In many ways, I was only posting to repeat the situation in my head, but I found many great pieces of advice in there and support as well. Thanks to everyone who posted. I spent last night with my mates, who was absolutely sound about the situation. He basically gave advice that was tantamount to what was given in the comments. To call off the relationship. We had a few drinks, a bit of banter, and this morning I went back to the flat and confronted her. She was there. Neither I nor her work on Saturdays, and I set out my stake in a straightforward manner as I could. Good for this guy. Basically, I said I didn't want to continue with the relationship, and that's better if we call the whole thing off. The wedding details are merely financial and not too bad to call back, but at this rate, we couldn't continue to be together as we clearly desired different things. Good for this guy. She basically expressed what she felt then, that we still had a chance, that it could work, to give sexual freedom a chance. Bullshit. She is sticking to her guns and trying to get this. And why is she sticking to her guns? Because this guy displayed so much weakness before in the relationship. Obviously, she ran the relationship. Obviously, she was used to getting what she wanted. So that's why all this crap is going on. This is why, you guys, if you don't act this way, you're not going to get treated this way. They'll be testing. Don't get me wrong. Women are always going to test you. Women are always going to test your strength and you being a leader and all that. But you pass those tests. Again, this is for relationship guys that are watching me. You're going to be pretty much fine. But this guy obviously screwed up early on and failed a lot of tests, and she walked all over him. But she's sticking to her guns here to, get what she wants. But he's sticking to his guns. He says, "Look, I'm no crazy prude, but this shit just isn't in my alley at all. I basically said that over the weekend I'd be over to collect my things. He says it's a rented flat in town, no big obligation there, and that she can keep the place if she wants. I'll stay with my friend for a while and get myself sorted out. Towards the end, we had a full-blown shouting argument, but I stood my ground and didn't change my course. Not this time, boys and girls." Good job for this guy. And what the hell does she have to shout about? This guy can flat out, first of all, men are logical. And I immediately am going into my logical brain here and saying, what does she have to shout out about? That she wants to open a relationship. She wants to hook up with other dudes. She cheated on him in the past. Why would he want to get married to her? Why would she want to get married to him? Now, we know the reason why, but for her, she's all emotional. And she's probably throwing a tantrum and screaming and yelling and throwing shit and crying and all that crap trying to get her way. Because she knows she's lost. She knows that that's it. Her meal ticket's gone. She's blown it. And she's going to look like a complete ass to her family, when she has to explain what happens. Right? Shouting. Give me a break here. I left, and there's nothing much more to say, really. As I type, me and my mate are having a few cans. And my phone has been exploding since 5 o'clock with her friends and her sister calling me a prick and a sexist for some reason. Talk about some nerve here. Now her friends are bombing him with messages and texts and insulting him because he didn't want to open a relationship with her, because he wanted, God forbid, if he was going to be married, that she'd be his wife and not with other dudes. Come on here. If she wants to have that type of relationship, she can go have other dudes, okay? I'll be grand. Being totally frank, I feel a bit liberated, if that's not too cheesy. The coming days, I'll get everything sorted, the moving and that, but as my father used to say, there's always fucking worse. Yeah, things could always be worse. But the bottom line is, even though this guy acted weak early on, and his obviously nice guy behavior got him to this place, thank God in the end, he said, that's it. No more. Drew a line in the sand, that is it. I'm out of here, okay? Because a lot of guys, unfortunately, will probably be so weak, they'd go along with this whole open relationship crap, okay? I've done stories about this, and it always ends badly. Even when the girl says, oh, you can go out and hook up with whoever you want, because she knows darn well, for every one girl that guy would get, she could have 50 guys if she was good looking, okay, or even just remotely good looking, okay? But the lessons of the story, guys, is basically this: if she cheats, if you're on a date you start meeting a girl and you start dating and getting to know her and all that, and she mentions that she cheated on guys in the past, that's it. It's over, okay? Do not get into a relationship with her. If you want to obviously have something casual like friends with benefits or things like that, hooking up, that's one thing. But she doesn't become your girlfriend, because ultimately it'll happen to you. The second you start screwing up, the second you start acting too nice, the second you stop paying attention to her, whatever happens to be in her crazy mind, that's when she'll cheat. So you don't do that. Or if you are in a relationship and she does cheat, you're out of there, because otherwise she'll do it again and her respect for you will get worse, will lessen, and it will get worse. The other lesson: watch out for the girl's friends. Guaranteed. If they're all single and she's the only one that's in a relationship, but they want other guys, be careful. They could try to sabotage the situation, or just simply, if just depending on their personality and characters, the influence they'll have on her. And the third one obviously is, girl wants an open relationship, it's over. Okay, because believe me, you're nothing to her. Okay, unless both of you are into a very different type of lifestyle. Okay, it goes both ways. Maybe then, if it's maybe you're just in a relationship, not married, maybe that can work if you're both 100% into that. But if you're not, no way. You end it, walk away. So this guy, again, even though he messed up early on, he did the right thing at the end, so good job. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. I thought it was a good story to share. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.